Hello everyone and welcome to section 5, latest Photoshop features and using them to improve your projects. The name of the first video is Discovering the latest features of Photoshop. So basically I'm going to explain a little bit more about some of the latest Photoshop features such as internal search, glyphs, emojis, Liquify filter effects and also brush organization. So these features are available in Photoshop versions over Photoshop CC 2017 and you're going to easily find and use them in Adobe Photoshop. So I'm opening Photoshop now and as you can see I have pre-opened this image of a person with a clear open face here in order to apply and to demonstrate you the Liquify filter effects for face retouching. The first thing that I'm going to do is unlocking the background layer and I'm going to the filter menu and finding Liquify. After I've selected Liquify, there is a dialog box that is opening and you can see here some of the normal instruments that I'm able to use when working with Liquify. But here you can see also the face tool that is very useful when retouching faces in Adobe Photoshop. So I'm going to click on it and you can see how our right properties menu has changed. So we have options for eyes, nose and mouth and other specifications of the face that can be manually adjusted here from these option bars here. And you can also use the interactive lines that are appearing directly on your image when face is being recognized. You can see here the borders of the face and I can very easily retouch the face and change some of its dimensions and contours. For example, I can retouch the mouth, I can retouch the nose if I need to do this also. And these are just some demonstration ways to show you how easy it is to work with this instrument. So you have the option for a live preview that is very useful when you want to preview the final results of the image that you're retouching. And after hitting OK, you're going to see how the image has changed. So it's very easy and intuitive to work with this Liquify filter settings for face retouching. The next feature I'm going to present in this video is the internal search option. So you're going to meet this option in Photoshop versions over Photoshop CC 2017. You're going to find the search icon on the top right part of your screen. So clicking on it and there is a menu that is being opened. So you can see we have several categories, for example, All, Photoshop, Learn and Stock. When we search in Stock, it is actually presenting us results from Adobe Stock that can be, for example, free or paid images, illustrations, vectors, and so on that we can very easy catch from here and put in our Photoshop projects without getting out of the software. If you search in Learn, you're going to receive information about help and tutorials that you can use in order to improve your Photoshop skills. And if you just search in Photoshop, you're going to find some instruments and tools very quick and very easy in order to start working with them directly. For example, in my case, I'm looking for the magnetic lasso tool, but I have it on my quick access instrument bar. So I need to click here for more and look for it and search for it. Instead of that, I'm just going to type magnetic. And you can see here in the results, I have both magnetic lasso tool and freedom pen tool. So if I just press the magnetic lasso tool, it is going to be automatically opened and I can just start doing a selection if there is a need to do this. So the next Photoshop feature I'm going to present now is the glyph typing. So I'm going to use the typing tool in Photoshop and open new typing. So you are able to see from the fonts menu that there is one font that is a little bit different from the other fonts available in Adobe Photoshop. So all the fonts are black, but scrolling down you're going to see a golden one. So this is the Triangle color, which is exactly one of the newest fonts in Adobe Photoshop. So the difference between this Triangle color font and the other fonts is that it has a preset stylization, so it's very easy to include it just in your Photoshop project. If you need to have, for example, golden text, it has some features and adjustments such as gradient overlaying, different coloring, borders, shadings, and so on that are preset, and it's very easy just to include it. I'm just going to increase the size of the font and type gold, for example. So I can very clearly see how it is appearing in our Photoshop project, and it is very easy to include this kind of new fonts. So I hope in the future versions of Photoshop there are going to be more fonts like this in order to make the typing in Photoshop more intuitive and more easy without the need of adding adjustment layers and other layer styles. So I'm just going to delete this layer now and proceed to the next interesting font, that is exactly Emoji Go. Pressing enter, and you can see this emoji one font is specifically for emojis that you can include in your Photoshop project. By double clicking on an emoji, you're just going to include it, but you first of all need to start tapping, of course. Double click and you're going to include this emoji and this, and there is a full set of different emojis that you can find here. So it's very easy to include colorized preset emojis in your Photoshop projects. For example, when you're creating a project that is related to some kind of articles or posts on social media and you need to include an emoji, you don't need more to include it from external sources. You just have to use this font emoji one, and you're going to very easily input different emojis into your Photoshop project. I'm going to close this menu and delete this layer in order to proceed to the last feature I'm going to present in this video. So I'm just pressing on the brush tool, and as you can see here from the drop down menu, I have a full preset of different brushes here. Some of them are unusual, others are just rounded brushes with soft and hard edges, and so on and so on. But depending on the purpose of your project, you may need to rearrange this preset of brushes in order to make it easier for you to select the brush you want. For example, if you're going to primarily work with this brush 95, you just need to put it on the top in order not to scroll every time. So in order to do this, I'm just going to click on the brush panel button that's right next to this drop down with the brushes, pressing on it, and you can see here more extended menu of the brushes. So you're able from here to add a new brush preset, for example, that you can name and of course adjust with all the features that Photoshop allows you, for example, transfer, smoothing, build up, and so on. And you can rearrange the preset of the brushes that you have from this mini drop-down panel on the top of your screen. So in order to do this, you just need to click the icon that is Open Brush Preset Manager, press on it, and here is our preset manager. So you can see here clearly the order of the brushes that are going to appear in your drop-down menu with the brushes. So for example, I'm going to work with the brushes from 95 to 33, let's say. I'm going to select them all by holding Shift and just dragging them to the top, and that's the way you're going to rearrange your brush presets, just pressing down. And you can see now from the drop-down menu that these brushes here are on the top, and it is much easier for you to work with them, depending of course on the purposes of the project you're working on. Why is it important to know this? It is really important to stay up to date when you're working with Photoshop, because Photoshop is changing every single year, every single version brings some new features, and in this particular case you have learned how to use some of the latest Photoshop features such as internal search, Liquify filter, effects for face retouching, emojis, glyphs, and of course brush organizing.